Sean Dyche is coming in as Everton manager. Now, can he keep them in the Premier League this season? Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. Massive news in the bottom half of the Premier League as Sean Dyche is going to be Frank Lampard's successor at Everton. Can he keep them up? What does this news mean to the other teams down the bottom half of the Premier League table? Well, we're going to talk about all of that today. Before we get into it, do feel free to share your bottom three predictions down below. Has your mind changed? Do Everton now stay up with this manager? We're going to break it down. Before we do though, do make sure to drop a like and hit that red subscribe button. 65% of viewers haven't subscribed, so go on and hit the red button. Let's talk about it then. I've got to say, it's been an interesting couple of days at Everton. Obviously, Lampard getting sacked, I think, is the right decision. He's a nice guy, but you want a manager that can keep you up. They were in talks with Bielsa. Now, that would have been an interesting choice. I do like Bielsa's style of play. I really did like him at Leeds, how attractive it was to watch as a neutral and how exciting it was. But when you're thinking about a manager just to keep you up, maybe Sean Dyche is a better and a safer pair of hands for that. The football might not be entertaining, but we've seen with his track record at Burnley, he can keep a team in the Premier League. Everton need that this season. They just need to get over the line by any means possible. If you just look at the Premier League table, it's fair to say Everton are right in the thick of it. They are so bad at the moment. Their form has them trending to go bottom, and the only thing that could save them is a new manager and maybe some new players as well. Everton are really struggling, and it is competitive. A couple results and it all could change, but you look at the form they've been going in, they are seriously heading towards the bottom. So can Sean Dyche turn it around? Well, let's start with the fixtures. The first couple games he's going to get are going to be Arsenal at home and Liverpool away. Now that is a very tricky couple of games. In my opinion, Sean Dyche or another manager should have come in a couple of games ago. Lampard has wasted fixtures, losing to Southampton, and West Ham has left Everton in an even worse position. I think they're in more danger this season than they were last season when they limped over the line right at the end. Now, to whoever was going to come in as the Everton manager, I think these first two games are a bit of a write-off. Now, if Sean Dyche was to go and win even just one of these next two games, that's a massive statement, and I think people's heads would start to turn already on Everton. I don't think he's going to be blamed if they lose these first two games. That squad is not going to be capable of beating Arsenal or Liverpool, in my opinion. I personally think if they get out of those two games with 1 point, that's not a bad start. The real business starts after that when they play Leeds, Aston Villa, and go away to Nottingham Forest. Three massive games. Villa not so much involved in the relegation battle, but Leeds at home is such a big game. Forest away, bit of a tricky one as well, with Forest obviously being stronger at home than they are away. But those three games are where Sean Dyche has really got to get something. Everton have 15 points from 20 games. They probably need another 22 points. That takes them to 37. That should be enough. I know everyone always says get to 40 points, but if we're being realistic, 37 should be enough. 36 could be, but we'll say 37 for the point of this video. If they don't get anything from those next two games, they'll then have 16 games to get 22 points. We're looking at 1.3 or 1.4 points per game there for Sean Dyche to pull some big results in. As I say, they've got those massive 6-pointers coming, and their final two games of the season are Wolves away and Bournemouth at home. I think it could be one grandstand finish here for Everton. Sean Dyche will have to produce some magic though for Everton to even take it to those final couple of games based on how they've been at the moment. They're the second lowest goal scorers in the league, and if you look at that team, you think there is a few good individuals in there he can work with. You've got the likes of Jordan Pickford, Mina, Tarkowski, Cody. Could these players be massive in Sean Dyche trying to improve them defensively? In terms of going forwards, you've got Calvert-Lewin, Gray and Iwobi. Could they get the goals to keep Everton up? Possibly. One thing I will say, very similar to Nottingham Forest, is I think Everton could stay up down to the home form. If they're going to get over the line, it'll be the home form that does it. We saw it at the end of last season. The results at Goodison were massive, probably influenced by that home crowd. So with all that said, Everton now do need the fans on board. I understand Everton's fans' frustrations with everyone at the top of that club because it is absolutely spineless there. But just to get over the line this season, to avoid going down to the Championship, they do need the fans to get on side with Sean Dyche. So Sean Dyche really does need to produce some magic in the first couple of games to get those fans behind him. The question is though, if Everton are to stay up, which three teams are they going to finish ahead of? Let's go through them one by one. One thing I will say before we do this is I'm a bit annoyed by some people coming out and suddenly just assuming Everton are going to stay up with Sean Dyche. I do think their chances have drastically improved, but to say they're definitely going to stay up is obviously a ridiculous statement. We don't know that yet. Yes, they could do it, but I don't think it's a certain, obviously. At the bottom of the table, you have Southampton. Now, Everton are currently ahead of them. It's the only team they're ahead of in the table, and only just. Southampton have replaced their manager this season. They've got Nathan Jones. They've shown signs of some improvement, but yet to win many games in the league. They've actually only picked up 3 points under Nathan Jones in the Premier League. But, like I say, the performances in some of the cup competitions does give them hope, but they're in a ridiculously difficult situation. I think Everton could finish ahead of Southampton, but Southampton did just beat them in the head-to-head back at Goodison. Southampton have got better game changers, in my opinion, especially with James Ward-Prowse. So, can Everton really finish ahead of them? I think it's possible, but let's talk about the next team, Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth are another team. They've changed their manager this season. They've been trending really badly after the World Cup. I do think Everton can finish ahead of Bournemouth. Unless Bournemouth really turn it around, I do think they're heading towards bottom of the league. They've conceded around 2.1 goals per game. It's terrible. Just above that dotted line, we find Wolves. Now, I am a little bit worried for Wolves this season, but for some reason, I have confidence they should be able to stay up. I don't know what it is. I know they're the lowest goal scorers in the league, but just that Premier League experience they've got makes me think they're going to grind out just enough results to get over the line. It's obviously not a great season to look back on with fondness for the Wolves fans, but at this moment in time, I do think Wolves could finish ahead of Everton. I've got to say, though, that penultimate game of the season when Wolves host Everton is absolutely massive. If Everton and Wolves are still joint by the hip and there's not a lot between them in the table going into that game, that is such a massive game. The benefit for Wolves is they are at home for that game, but I think that game is absolutely massive. Wolves want to try and get ahead of Everton before that game comes along. The next team in the table are West Ham United. I don't think West Ham are going to go down. They have just picked up a very good win over Everton. Everton, obviously, with Frank Lampard at that point in time. Massive result for West Ham there. I just think the quality West Ham have got will get them away from this. David Moyes is an experienced manager, although I think he's not doing a great job with West Ham this season. I don't think they're going to go down. I think Everton will have to try and hunt down another team. Ahead of West Ham are Leeds United. Now, Leeds United are in poor form. They're struggling for wins. They're grinding out every point they can, but is it going to be enough? The thing is, at this moment in time, I could see Leeds continuing to pull out just around 1 point per game and head along that line. The problem is, if Everton come up above them, Leeds could be the team to drop in there. That game at Goodison Park between Everton and Leeds in a couple of weeks is massive. Leeds United cannot lose that game because Everton could overtake them and then they'll start to gain some confidence. Leeds just cannot lose at Goodison Park. The next team are Leicester City. Leicester City, once again, do have a bit of quality that makes me think they should be alright, but their form is really poor at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me with the teams we've got down here this season. We probably will see one team we really didn't expect to go down this year. Will it be Leicester? Maybe. At the moment, they are in poor form. And just above them are Nottingham Forest. Now, Nottingham Forest are a team a few people have still got their eye on in this conversation. Nottingham Forest are far from safe yet, but I've said I think the continuity there is massive. They've stuck by their manager where a lot of these teams haven't. They can be very good at home and the home form could keep them up this season. They're already on 21 points. So the way I'm looking at this for Nottingham Forest, 4 more wins, 4 more draws, that takes you to 37. That's surely enough for Nottingham Forest to stay up. I think they're capable of that. And then the final team we'll mention are 12th place Crystal Palace. They've got some very big games coming, and if Crystal Palace were to go on a bad run, they could get sucked into this. I do think they're going to be alright with Vieira. They're not quite in the battle so much as the teams below them. They've got more points on the board, but once again, a poor run and they could get sucked into it, but I think Palace are fine. So then the ultimate question, does Sean Dyche keep Everton up? I'm going to sit on the fence right now. I think their chances have drastically improved. Under Lampard, I was really confident they were going down. I'm not particularly confident they're going up or down at the moment. I think their chances are probably 50-50 at this point in time. So let me know your thoughts down below. Predict the 3 teams going down. Does Sean Dyche keep Everton up? Let me know in those comments. Do make sure to drop a like. Do make sure to hit the red subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.